Welcome to another session and one of the club activities with the presentation of cybersecurity. My name is Mohammad Rahmat Ali, and in today's session, we're going to learn about the meaning part of the introduction of cybersecurity. Then we'll be having a different mode of the club activities. The reason this presentation and these videos were posted in the last 3 or 4 times is to make you aware what actually is cybersecurity, how cybersecurity works, and what are the different domains by which cybersecurity is been working and to which the cybersecurity has a threat. Now, in the previous session, we studied about the password cracking. In today's session, we are going to learn about how to secure your passwords. Like what are the methods by which you can secure your passwords. And if you remember in the previous session also, I told you about these passwords. Instead of password, you should use passphrases or any of the things which is unknown to others. Now, what actually do you mean by securing password? It's not only about what do you call as giving a paraphrases or giving a different password or making your password unreadable or some of the password which cannot be cracked. Securing the password in the sense the methods by which your account or your system can be secure. Okay, there should be no predictive type of way by which anyone can predict the password of yours, or there cannot be anything by which anybody can guess or anybody can pretend to know the password. For instance, there are two friends knows their weaknesses and their strengths. Now one friend likes sweets very much, the second friend doesn't like it. So in the password he writes like my favorite delicious or delicacy. So he'll write like he knows the answer, he'll write the answer, so he can access or he can bypass that particular account. So how we can secure your passwords, what are the mechanisms? And also remember, there are many of the application, many of the browser stores your username and password. You should never do that. Though that computer belongs to you, though that system belongs to you, though that laptop is your personal laptop, but still you should not store your passwords in any of the application or in the browser. Well, because most of the students or most of the time the people what they say is like they'll say the browser to remember the password. For instance, I told my browser to remember the password, and me being an external person who wants to trace into your laptop or into your computer will access all of your details through your web browser. Will access all of your details from a web browser, and I can bypass the security pretending an actual user and can misuse your personal account and can misuse your personal account. I'll tell you a small instance or a small story by which how dangerous is storing the passwords and how dangerous is to make another application or third party application to use your personal information. Now, there was a printer which got so it was not working properly. So that person took that printer to a mechanic shop or a repair shop and he gave it to him. And later on, he was busy with all of these activities and he did all of his different works. After 3 days, when he checked his bank account was empty. His bank account was totally empty. He reported to the police station. When the investigation came out, when the investigation was done, it was been clear that the printer which was been given to the technician, that technician has used that printer to access his bank details. Now how did he access his bank details? Because through that printer, that particular person has taken out the printout of bank details. So with that particular small thing, that person bypassed the bank details and he transferred all of this money. So this much dangerous is the cyber world. This much dangerous is the thing. So you should be very much cautious. You should be very much well aware what you are using, where you are using, and how you are using. So you should be very much aware so that you will be secure. You will be secure. Now coming towards what it says, using always strong password, never use same password for two different sites. For instance, like this is a common practice. Like what we do is like, you have Facebook or Gmail, Yahoo. For all of this, you will be using only one passwords. This is also not a valid choice. This is also not a valid thing that need to know, because if I know that you are using the same password for every of the account, if I know one password, then I can access all of your accounts. I can access all of your account. This is also not a good practice. You should have different passwords for different accounts. For instance, I'm using Facebook. I should have a different password or paraphrases for the Facebook account, for Gmail, for Yahoo, for XYZ account. So it means securing the passwords are in different ways, like I've told you. The next point is mistake we do, like we put the password as a password only. Like for an example, the password is happy. In that you are using capital letters and small letters. Happy is a password, is a good password, but it is predictive. It is predictive. Now, what is the actual measure that need to be taken for securing the password? You should put paraphrases. How it should be? I am happy to see you, and every of the letter is capital at the beginning. I am happy to see you, or I am happy to see you. In that too, you should write numericals, or I am happy to see you, in the sense I am happy at the rate see you. In way you can write anything which you like, so that nobody can predict your particular password. Nobody can predict your particular password. And I'll tell you one more thing. I'll tell you one more thing. If you remember, uh, there are some of the words which uh, seems common, which seems common. For an instance, if I tell you the password is 123, what you will write? You will write 1, 2, and 3. But the actual password is 1, 2 times, 2, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is also the way by which you can secure your accounts. Or there are another ways by which you can what do you call as secure accounts. Like someone asks you what is your password, I'll say boss, BOSS. This you can write it by like BOSS or 8055. This is also another way to secure password. So these are different measures, or there are different things by which you can secure your account, or you can secure your activities that you are doing. Now moving forward, what are the most common security mistakes that we make in day-to-day life? See, I repeat, there is no particular thing to be secured from cyber world. There is no person in this whole world who was never been hacked or who has never been traced. Every of the person in this world is been traced, is been monitored, is been hacked, but we don't know. But we don't know it by from our side. For instance, I'll tell you, like see, you have switch to open the fan and close the fan. It is for our convenience that we are switching it off and switching it on. But at 24 by 7, the current is passing through that switch to the what you call as fan. It means for our convenience, for our satisfaction, we have made the switches. But 24 by 7, the current is passing through the fan, electricity, electric tube, bulb, and everything. So for our convenience, what we have done, we have made the switch, so that at our convenience we can open the light and we can close the light. We can open the fan or close the fan, but always the electricity will be flowing. In the same way, cyber threats is always there. For our convenience, we are writing password, we are writing different X sort of things, we are using antiviruses, internet security, total security, X sort of things. But hacking, tracing will always be there at any other instance. Now, what are the common security mistakes that we commonly make? The things are poor password management. See, this is also very much important. For instance, you should change your passwords for your bank account, for your email account, for your social media account for every 35 days minimum, or maximum 180 days, or not 180 days, 90 days I can say. Minimum is 35, maximum is 90. At the most extent, 180 days. You should change your password. At any instance, you should change your password. There are many of the mechanisms by which you will be automatically prompted to change your password at different accounts. Like for an example, I'm maintaining a user management. I'll write the instance or write the program in such a way for every 180 days or every 190 days the user has to change the password which is different from the previous one. If at all if I've used the password previously, I cannot use the same password again. So this is also one of the mechanism by which I can manage the security. This is a common mistake that we do, like poor password management in any of the ways, forgetting the password or giving the passwords to another one, or you can say not changing the password for a longer time. So these are the commonly mistake that we do with reference to password. Second one is not locking the computer while unattended. This is the biggest mistake that we do at every instance, whether it might be a mobile phone, whether it might be a personal computer, whether it might be your laptop, whether it might be a palm top, whether it might be an Apple phone or iPad or what do you call it as iPod. It can be anything. When you are not using it, lock it. When you're not using it, lock it. But because there might be some unauthorized user who will be accessing that particular information. There can be some of the actual, like for an instance, and another example I'll tell you. Someone has asked your mobile phone. You have given your mobile phone, believing him that you will not do unnecessary things. But what he did is like, he went into your gallery. He went into your gallery. So this is not like correct method or correct way to access any of the information. You have believed him, that you have trusted him, you have trusted that person, but he has not taken the trust. In the sense, when you are giving the access to some particular users, see to it that you are giving only limited access, and if at all if it is unattended, you should lock it. You should lock it at any instance. The third one is opening email attachment from unknown addresses. This is also another mistake, and I have told you with reference to phishing and spam emails. This comes under phishing and spam emails. If at all if you are unsure that this email address is not an authentic one, don't open it. Don't open the email also. Like attachment is a longer way behind thing, but don't open the email also directly. Delete it or make it as a spam, so that whenever it comes for the next time, it goes directly into the spam folder. Directly it goes to the spam folder. So you should be well aware of the attachment that you are downloading and to which email address you are sending the information. The next point is not running antivirus programs. This is also a common practice, like many of the people that don't actually use antiviruses. Antiviruses will help you in what do you go how I can say, to identify the viruses and to remove, not I can say remove, but avoid the viruses. Antivirus will not remove the virus, but it will avoid the virus coming into your system, or it will act as a barrier like in between your computer and virus. The next one is sharing information with reference to machine, in the sense like if at all the system is being connected in the network, in that how you will be sharing your information and how you will be transferring the material from one system to another system. The next point is not reporting security violations, if at all in an organization, if any of the what you call I can say there is a security violation, there is some unattended things, you should ultimately report it. In a sense, there is some uneven activities going on, so you should report it either to the uh, organization or to the application that you are using, or to some of the people who can manage those things. If at all if you remember, like whenever if any of the application is not running properly, you will get a dialog box stating report this, report this. In your Android phone also this will be there. So what is this? This is reporting for unusual activities that has been going on. Because my phone used to run very normally, but now it is getting hanged, or it is getting denial of services, or it is not responding to the request. So this you need to report it, so that the people sitting at the other end can rectify this error. If at all this is a serious error, there will be an update. If at all this is a minor error, then you will be getting a confirmation message stating that this is not a problem, but for a time being this was been from our side, and can be anything. So now the next one is unattended paper document. This is for the physical things, unprotected electronic data. while at rest in motion. Example, emails, USB series, etc. The next one is improper information handling, passing of information over phone. These all are the commonly mistakes that we do. And with reference to the last point, passing of information over phone, this is very serious. Like, as we are using WhatsApp, every of the information is being sent through WhatsApp, whether it might be a video file, audio file, document, and any of the voice recording or any of the audio record, everything is being sent with reference to iPhone, or not iPhone, through WhatsApp, through WhatsApp. So with reference to phone, you are accessing every of the information and everything. It's not a good practice. If you want to send any of the information which is highly preserved, you should take it personally. You should not send it on WhatsApp. Why? Because there might be a chance that that data can be leaked. If at all, if you remember, Times Now people and Republic TV have shown the personal chats of the celebrities. So by that you can understand how secure is WhatsApp, how secure is WhatsApp, and how you can trust WhatsApp. Okay. Now coming towards the next slide, what it says, what are the different types of attacks or the percentage of attacks with reference to cyber security. The source has been taken from FBI. Financial frauds are 11%, data networks sabotage is 17%, theft of property information is 20, system penetration from outside is 25, denial of service is 27, unauthorized access by insiders is 71, employee abuse of internet privilege is 79, and virus is 85. So by this you can understand how much is the attack. If at all, if you see, there are internal more attacks than the external one. Like see, if you see, system penetration from outside is 25% only, whereas employee abuse of internet privilege is 79 and unauthorized access by insiders is 71%. So this is very important with reference to the cyber security. For that reason only, I am telling you from the first instance that internal people are more dangerous than outsiders. Sorry, internal people are more dangerous than the people who are from outside. Or if at all you have any of the person from internal way, then only an outsider can attack into that system. Now this is with reference to the types of security attack with reference to percentages. Now what are the advantages of cyber security? The first advantage is like it will defend us from hack and viruses. It helps us to browse safe website. It will help you, but it will not assure you. It will help you. The next one is internet security process all the incoming and outgoing data on our computer. This is a common thing. The next one is cyber security will defend us from critical attacks. Critical attacks in the sense the attack can be anything. The attack can be internal, the attack can be external, the attack can be denial of services, the attack can be spam emails, the attack can be phishing, it can be anything. Cyber security will help you or it will defend you us from critical attacks. The next one is the application of cyber security use in our PC needs update every week, like this with reference to updates. And also this can be a disadvantage with reference to cyber security, because when I'm updating some of the updates, there might be an attacker who can attack my personal information and can take the information until the application is been updated. Then the next point is the security developers will help, or the security developer will update the database every week once. Hence, new virus also is detected with reference to the reports that we send. The next one is safety tips to cyber crime. Use antivirus software, insert firewalls, uninstall unnecessary softwares, maintain backups, check security settings, never give your full name or address to strangers, learn more about internet privacies. These are some of the safety measures by which you can be secure with reference to your cyber security or getting attacked from other people. Now the last one is like what are the strategies that India has taken with reference to the cyber security. This is all on your screen. You can study it from here and you can see online what are the different measures with reference to India for taking up the cyber security. Now that's all from my side for today's presentation. If at all, if you have any doubt with reference to today's presentation or any of the presentation which has been presented previously, please reach me out at Rahmat_Ali to you at @yahoo.com, or you can message in the group to have an healthy conversation. Now, for today's assignment, what all you need to do is you need to see the different types of attacks that has come across, and what are the measures that was been taken, or what are the things that was been done to rectify it. You need to have a case study. You need to have a case study with reference to this, so that you can understand what actually is cybersecurity, what actually is cybersecurity, and also you can browse with reference to different laws. What are the laws that is been taken into India? And also the last thing that I want to ask you, this is a major question for all of you. I'm staying in India. Like, this is the case study that I want you to answer this question. Like, write a case study or write an answers in detail, like how it will work. The question is something like this: I'm staying in India. There is some person who is staying in Australia, and there is some other person, a third person who is staying in America. My data is being breached with reference to America and also with reference to Australia. Now, where should I complain? How should I complain? Who will take up my complaint, and who will what do you call as take care of this data? Why? Because my data was being breached in Australia as well as in America. Second question is, I'm staying in India. I created my email account in India, and I am using it in Australia now. I'm using it in Australia. If at all something happens to my account, who will take care of it? Australian government or Indian government or any of the third party? So this is the question for all of you. Answer this question, write a detailed report of it, and post it in the group, and confirm your presence over there. That's all from my side for this presentation. In the next session, we will see a different topics and different things. Until then, take care. Bye bye, and thank you.